Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to a new video. I hope you're all having an awesome day. So for today's video topic then is hundreds of visitors but no sales, and I'm going to show you guys in this video how to solve that problem. So I've been speaking to a lot of people recently on Instagram and Facebook, and the number one thing I've been asked this last week, or the number one problem then that people have been having, is the fact that they're getting hundreds and hundreds of visitors to their store, but yet nobody is buying anything. So this is the topic we're going to be addressing. We're going to be showing you how to identify the problem, find out exactly where it's coming from, but then most importantly, how to actually solve it. However, before we jump into the video then, I just want to quickly mention, as always in every single video, I am giving away a free one-to-one consultation call with me. So a chance for me and you to talk one-to-one and go through anything you want to. You can literally ask me any questions about your dropshipping business, whether it's certain Facebook ad strategies or product research, or simply if you just want me to review your store. If that's something that you might want to win, for a chance to win it, then all you do have to do is simply like the video and leave a comment down below. And if you commented on my previous video, then just make sure you stay tuned to the end of this one where the winner will be announced. And with that being said then guys, without any further ado, let's get straight into it. So before you establish that you actually have a problem then, I want you guys to answer these two questions, and you have to answer them honestly as well, because you have to make sure that if there's a problem that you're going to be dealing with it in the correct way. So number one then is, how much traffic have you actually had? And in my recommendation, and if you've had less than 1,000 visits, then I recommend you keep running ads until you at least break that 1,000 barrier, for a couple of reasons really. Number one is that Facebook needs time to optimize and actually increase the quality of the traffic. So this is even more true for beginners with fresh pixels, fresh ad accounts, is that when you start running ads, Facebook essentially won't know who your ideal customer is. It's going to be showing your ads to pretty much just anybody, just kind of like putting your ad out there as a feeler to see who kind of responds to it. So to begin with then, don't expect the best kind of traffic. I get people contacting me, messaging me saying I've had 100 visits to my store in total ever since I started running ads. I've seen no sales. Like, what's the problem? 100 visits, sorry, it's just not enough to base this premise on. You have to make sure you have at least 1,000 visits, because in my opinion that's enough time for Facebook to learn who's responding to your ads, who is performing the actions, adding to cart, etc., and actually increase the quality of the traffic. Also, the more people that have visited your store, then the better idea you have. And the reason for this then is that if you get, say, 100 visits to your store, and then base those 100 visits, make a judgment on those 100 visits of whether your store has a problem or not, versus if you get, say, 10,000 people to your store, then 10,000 people will give you a much better idea, because it's all a numbers game. It's all about working on the numbers and working on the averages. And to kind of give you an example then, I want to show you inside my ad manager account, is that the reason why you have to give your ads more of a chance to produce the traffic so you can work on the averages. So if we just take this top ad set then, the best performing one for me, I'm just going to open up my calculator, and we can see then we had 824 website purchases, and we had a little bit under 10,000 link clicks. So if we just take the 824 divided by 9440, times that by 100, and that's going to give us our conversion rate. So a conversion rate of about 8.7%, which is pretty good in fact. Most e-commerce stores work on a bit less than this, but then if we just compare this against some of the smaller ones, so we'll take let's take this second one down, so the next best performing one, but as you can see then the amount spent is considerably less. So how many purchases? We had 134 purchases, divide that by the 1,700 link clicks, equals times by 100, and we have a conversion rate then of 7.5 or 7.6%. So as you can see that the conversion rate isn't as high, and that's because I haven't spent as much. Now if I went through these, I'd probably find they're pretty consistent, because all of them have spent like a decent amount of money, but you need to be comparing this against the ad sets that you're running yourself. The majority of people I speak to won't even get past, say, £50 in ad spend before they decide an ad set or a product or an audience isn't working and switch it off. You need to give your ad sets time to optimize and start bringing in better quality traffic. So moving on, the second question you must ask yourself is, what is the quality of that traffic? So use the breakdowns within your ad manager to see what country the traffic is coming from, because again, time and time again, I see people who are getting tons of traffic, but it's from places like India or Brazil or Saudi Arabia, just countries that just are really good for engagement. And if you're running PPE ads, then by all means include those countries, because it doesn't matter where your social proof comes from. But when you're trying to get people to convert and your store is in dollars or pounds, and you're trying to get people from countries like most Asian countries or African or South American countries, getting them to check out in US dollars or British pounds, it's going to be difficult to do. So you will have a really low conversion rate, if at all, just pretty much zero. So before you decide that you've got a problem with your store, you need to look at the quality of the traffic. And just in case you're not familiar with the breakdowns, we'll go back to my ad manager account. This little tab here, so you can go by time, delivery, etc. But just go by delivery, then go down to country, and this is going to tell you then where all your pretty much just where all these columns and where all of that data is coming from. I think all of these ads are from the UK, and the majority of my stores pretty much just focus on the UK and the EU now. But as you can see, then it is all from the UK. But if you're running ads worldwide, then obviously you'll have a lot more countries in there, and you'll be able to see where that traffic is coming from. And if it's coming from like a lot of Asian or African or South American countries, then in my opinion, they're low value countries, and as a result of that, then they have really low conversion rates. Now, this isn't going to be the story for absolutely everybody. It depends on what your store currency is. It depends on what product it is. But for the majority of cases, in terms of people I speak to on Instagram, then that seems to be the problem. So once you've answered these two questions, then if you haven't met the requirements, then I suggest you go back and reevaluate, tweak your ads until you hit over 1,000 visits and from quality countries. And if you have and you still have zero sales, then bottom line, in fact I should put this in bold really, bottom line, the problem is on your landing page. If you've had 1,000 visits plus to your landing page, which is probably most typically your product page, then the problem is on that page that your customers are going to. So the main culprits of this then, and this is talking in terms of your landing page, your product page, these are kind of like the common faults in which I see people making. So we'll just go through these one by one pretty quickly because they're pretty self-explanatory. And then at the end, I'm just going to show you an example of a product page of mine. If you've seen some of my earlier videos, then this is the product page that did over £100,000 in revenue. And I just want to show you pretty much just how simple and basic it is. Too many people overcomplicate things. But anyway, the main culprits then is the price. It can be too expensive and it can actually be too cheap. So the other day I was speaking to somebody on a consultation, and they had a jewelry store. They had really nice jewelry. It looked really expensive. They invested in like a photo box so they could have a proper white background and the jewelry would be sparkling, and really nice images that made the product look expensive. But then they were selling the product for like $10, and when people see things that look expensive, they expect the price tag to match. And if it doesn't, then it raises questions. The ultimate goal of your landing page or product page is to remove any questions or any doubts from your customer's mind. So make sure that the price matches the perceived value of the product. Number two then is the layout. Try and avoid lots of white space. It just looks unpleasing to the eye, and again it just arouses questions. People ask, why is there a massive gap on this product page? It just doesn't look professional. Number three then is the images. Again, I've seen people with pixelated images where their products just look really poor. Like, images are like one of the number one things that are going to sell your product, and you need to make sure they show off your product in the best way possible. If you need to buy a product in yourself with a photo box, like photo boxes are like 40 quid on Amazon, but you can just take your own original product images that look really professional. Even on an iPhone, you can take some pretty decent images. Another thing, just make sure on the images there's no Chinese references as well. Moving on to fonts then, time and time again I see people using really robotic fonts. Ultimately then, these need to match kind of like the overall theme and feel of your store. If you're not sure what fonts to go for, then simply find similar stores in your niche and just copy their fonts. Copy and paste like some of their text into a Word document or something like that, and it's going to tell you what font they're using. Or there are font identifiers on the internet as well that you can use for free. Next thing is the colors. People using colors that are unpleasing to the eye and hard to read. Just keep it simple at the end of the day. Second to last then is social proof, lack of reviews or order history. This is really, really important because unless you're a household name or unless people are familiar with you, so for example, they've already ordered a product from you and had good service, people are going to be hesitant about ordering from you because they've never seen you before. So if you've got 0 views, 0 reviews and 0 order history, then people are going to see it as taking a gamble because they don't exactly know what they're going to get. Why do Amazon have reviews on every single product page? Why does eBay? Why does any e-commerce store? Because it makes people feel safe and it gives them peace of mind when they're spending their money. Lastly then is the product descriptions and product features. The amount of stores I see that don't even include these whatsoever, or they're just really poorly written or copy and pasted from AliExpress. These are just really kind of newbie mistakes really that you need to be avoiding. At the end of the day, we're running a professional, proper business here that you want to make money from. So you have to take this seriously. You have to write professional product descriptions and features. And they're not really that difficult to do either. If you're struggling with what to put, then simply find the product you're selling on another e-commerce store and see what they've written and just make certain edits and unique and make it original and relevant to your own store. And to summarize everything we've just gone through then, overall, just keep it simple. Again, in fact, I'm going to put that in bold because it's more important than people realize. Just keep your product pages simple, just pleasing to the eye. And to give you an example then, this is my first ever winning product that did over 100k for me. It looks pretty crappy. In fact, on desktop, all of my orders come from mobile. So just to show you what it looks like on a mobile device, I'll try and make this bigger whilst keeping it in the mobile format so you guys can see it pretty clearly. But as you can see, even though it's really basic, it looks just neat and tidy and pleasing to the eye on a mobile device, and that's all you need. All the colors are soft, like white background, like really kind of like friendly font. If you want, Helvetica is a really good font to use. Now this is no longer available because the page isn't published, but essentially what I did was that on the ads that I was running, what I found was that people would come back to the ads and leave their reviews on there. So any nice reviews, I embedded them on the page. So as you can see what our Facebook customers have to say. And again, that is just like the most solid social proof that you can put on your page, is people from Facebook, so real life people posting images or comments of people who have actually ordered your product and been happy with it. And trust me, I only did this towards kind of like the last couple of weeks of this product, and it made a massive difference, and I do it for every single product now. Just to finish off then, to show you the remainder of the page, again, see, it's pleasing to the eye, it fits the feel of the page. There's some benefits and features of the products, just things that are going to sell the product, just a tiny little efficient and purposeful product description, nothing serious. It matches the product. Some like pretty standard and basic trust badges, and then customer reviews, and that really all it is. So it was important. I wanted to show you that because it's one thing to tell you to do something, but unless you have a proper example, then it's difficult to work on. So this product page, this site, is the very first general store I ever created. It's still live. I still keep it live so people can come across, have a look at the products I was selling, look at the product pages, etc. So if you do want examples of product pages, then feel free to head across, and I don't mind if you want to copy them word for word. So yeah, do with that what you will. If you want to download like a product page template and a free ebook, then there is actually a link in the video description down below as well. So with that being said then guys, that pretty much wraps up the video. Hopefully you're still watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video as well. If you did, then all I ask is that you simply leave the video a like, and if you want to be entered in then for that chance, for that raffle, to speak to me one-to-one for that free consultation, all you need to do is like the video and leave a comment down below. And with that being said then, let's get into announcing the winner of the previous video. Here we are then guys, on my previous video, how to target buyer with Facebook ads. So I show you then the whole process start to finish of how I go about finding interests to target. If the video gets to 100 likes, then I will release part 2. So if you haven't watched it yet, please do go across and check it out. Anyway, let's get into announcing the winner. So I'm just going to take the video URL, head over to our random comment picker, get YouTube comments, 50 unique comments, which is absolutely awesome in 2 days. So thank you very much. And the winner then of the previous video is that person there. I don't want to butcher your name, but thank you very much for your comment. Make sure you reach out on Instagram then and we can get that call arranged. And guys, if you just want to get straight down to business and book a call right away, then make sure you check out the links in the video description down below. And that being said then guys, thanks again for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.